Welcome to the Voice of Mount Pleasant podcast, featuring discussions and interviews about the people, places, and events that make Mount Pleasant such a special place.
Hello, this is Roger Gaither, your host for the Voice of Mount Pleasant podcast. Today, Bill Macchio, publisher of Mount Pleasant magazine, chats with Eric DeMoura, town administrator for the town of Mount Pleasant. Now, here's Bill and Eric.
Hey, Eric. Thanks again for doing this, man. This is going to be fun. Let's make sure your tie's straight. Go ahead. Is your tie straight?
Oh, wait. You're never going to let me live that down, are you?
I just got this background. I just literally did this background. Doesn't it look good?
It's really good looking. Good job.
Again, Eric, thanks. You to spending time with it. I'm glad you liked the article. We're getting a lot of great feedback from that issue.
You did a great job. Thank you for the opportunity to be in it.
I was just wanting people to get to know you, okay? During this time period, what did you do personally to keep you focused? I mean, focus is very important to you.
Well, I swear, Bill. And by the way, thank you for having me on. It's an honor for me to be here. But, I've been the town administrator here at the town for 10 years. And it has been quite a ride. It seems every year there's a different emergency. It's a natural event, a hurricane, ice storm, bridges that break, at times civil unrest. You've probably noticed that the Census Bureau had us as one of two of the fastest growing communities east of Mississippi over the last decade. It has been absolutely quite a ride. So remaining focused is very important. Usually, when you're going through an emergency situation, it is whatever it takes initially to collect the information and make the decisions that you have to early on. And so that's a trying time because it's usually many hours, long hours, not a lot of sleep, but our people are counting on us. So in the early hours of an event, it's tough as the hours wane on to stay focused. But once the early decisions are made and there's a little bit more space between decisions, and once I have the opportunity to develop the right pace, then it's important to do what I need to do to remain focused.
And what is that, Eric? What is that? What do you do personally?
Yeah, none of this will surprise you. It's important to get some decent rest. It's important to eat well, to exercise. I've got staff here who rely on me to support them, to lead. I have the mayor and the elected body, council members who rely on me to provide support to them. And so during these times, I have to take, when all the noise and the busyness of the initial planning and response is over, then I've got to take care of myself a little bit in the ways that I mentioned so that I can provide that support.
Absolutely. That's good, Eric. We all have to be personally grounded and rested in order to do our jobs. In the interview, in our COVID-19 issue, you made the statement, we've got a job to do and we can't fail. What was the main idea you put in place that made it so you didn't fail, so the town was together during this?
Well, thank you for saying that, by the way. And it is true, especially during times of emergency. Bill, that is when our citizens and business owners count on us the most. Usually in a time of emergency, we're having to act to keep the community, to keep citizens and business owners safe, and to keep their property safe. And the way to do that is proper planning. It is the way not to fail is to make sure that what are developed are clear and concise operational objectives that are geared toward whatever event, whatever situation you're dealing with. And so I'll sit with our leadership team here and determine exactly what are the objectives that have to be met. And then you start working the objectives. And that is typically not that the right decision's always made, because as we know, especially in emergency situations, you're doing truly the best you can, but nothing's ever perfect. But if you have clear operational objectives that at the end of the day, you can apply them to the mission of the staff here at the town, which is to protect, and preserve, and to support our people, that helps you to be successful in the long run in dealing with any one of these emergencies.
In your interview, you mentioned to decrease a community's exposure to the unforeseen disasters, whatever that may be. And be honest with you, I wasn't real versed on this. So what exactly does that mean?
You're referring to what we call a COOP, and that's a continuity of operations plan. It's the type of planning that we do around here at Town Hall. And it's the type of planning that we encourage all of our organizations town-wide, whether it's a hospital or a small business or a not-for-profit, to have. It's critical to have it. And what it is, it's a plan. It's a plan for resilience when the shock hits. And it's how to absorb that shock when we don't know how long the shock may last. We don't know exactly what it might entail. But it's how for any organization to be able to meet their mission, or if the mission has to stop for whatever reason, to be able to ramp back up, whether it's a business reopening or service to sectors of the public if you're a not-for-profit, or what we do, how quickly you can ramp back up. But a COOP, the continuity of operations plan, is critical, and many times, especially in a vulnerable area of the country, which is where we live, where it's hurricanes or earthquakes or you name it. Sometimes a COOP can be the difference between long-term survival or not. So it's critically important. It's why we encourage every organization to have one, and it's why we make available individuals on staff, like our emergency manager, to be able to work with any organization to help them with theirs.
Do you feel, Eric, that our COOP programs will be stronger after this?
Oh, there's no question. There's absolutely no question. I know ours at the town will be. We've had to develop and adjust and change things here that will make us stronger, our resilience planning stronger, whether it's a spike, heaven forbid, in this pandemic, or it's something else that comes along the way. We're as ready as we can be.
I have to share something with you, Eric. As you know, I visited your office and I left some magazines there about a week ago. And the guards downstairs, they know me by now because I come and go out of there with magazines. They call me the magazine guy, you know. When I come in, honestly, they were excited about opening June 1st. They told me at least 3 times between the time I went in and time I kept that we're open June 1st. How is it going? I mean, can the residents of Mount Pleasant expect a regular town hall? As you know, I like to call it Mount Pleasant's home. But what can they expect, and how are you protecting these residents when they come in?
Well, thank you. Excellent questions. Yes, for those that are listening, June 1st, Town Hall is now open. Now, please keep in mind, and you and I had this conversation, Bill, that if we have 700 employees, the vast majority of them have been working throughout this pandemic. Most of our employees are involved in public works type work, or police or fire or building inspections, things that are critical to maintain the public health and safety. But we have been open. For example, our planning department has the technology to be able to process permit applications and other things so that citizens can receive the services that they've come to expect. What has been missing is for our employees to come back to Town Hall. And so we structured it in waves and in layers.
Okay.
And we did that so that if we have another spike in the virus or something else occurs in the future, we can utilize this layering system to almost reverse it and unwind it. So if we have to leave the building, we can do that in an orderly and methodical way. But it's been something. I think there was a lot of energy yesterday.
Good.
When we had more people in the building. We have tremendous people who are so committed.
I would agree, Eric. I would agree. The town has been blessed to have not only your leadership, but everybody there is enthusiastic because you know what? It's an awesome town.
It is. And we are truly lucky to have wonderful people. And some of them, maybe 15% of them, have not been here in this facility. I mean, they've been working, but not in this facility. And so I think for many of them who haven't seen their colleagues, who haven't seen their friends in a while, to get the opportunity to do that was just really a wonderful experience. Now, when they come back, they saw something different at Town Hall, and it's also something that the citizens will notice differently here. I mean, Town Hall looks a little different. We have large stickers on the ground to try to space people out when they come in. There are protective barriers that have been installed throughout Town Hall to protect citizens and staff members. And then the usual PPE, from hand sanitizers to masks to other things that are here for people's protection. And so they are not only safe, but they also feel safe, which is very important in the workplace.
How's the traffic been in the building since you've opened it?
It's been fairly light. I think one thing that has occurred is there are many people in the public who were able to get the services that they needed, technologically mostly, through technological means over the past few months. And as we know with so many other things, sometimes it's just easier to do it that way.
Yeah.
So many are still relying on that to get the services that they're asking for. But for those who are more comfortable coming in, we welcome them. It just looks a little different, that's all.
I was impressed how you kept the critical services of picking up the garbage and cleaning up the town. I mean, the town doesn't look any different now as it did before the pandemic. You know?
Nope. I'm proud of our people for doing that, and I think that's it's the expectation of our public, and it's the expectation of our elected body to keep those services rolling, and we were able to do that.
How many special town meetings were there? Do you know? Not for you, but for the city council. Did they have very special? I should know this, but I don't. Did they have very many special emergency meetings?
I'd say there was about a dozen. For a while, it was a very fluid situation, and emergency action had to be taken, and council was able to do that.
What do you think the takeaway is for our community? Because I do believe in the phrase, no pain, no gain. And so what is the takeaway for us as a community through your eyes?
Well, I think that a few things. One is that we've learned again, or we were reminded what special people we have in Mount Pleasant, truly. We have great people who care about their neighbors and care about the community. I think that's become quite clear over the last several weeks. We've also learned the importance of, taking time to do some of the things that maybe the busyness of life didn't allow us to do before.
Yep.
I hear that from many residents and friends and citizens, business owners, that while there was some pain to be had, and we can't forget that there were a lot of people hurt by the pandemic, there were some silver linings involved, whether it was more opportunities to spend with family, or to learn something new, or to just take a breather sometimes.
Right.
So I think we learned that. I think that helped to deliver us perspective. A reminder of some things we probably have known all along. And then lastly, one big takeaway is the importance of being resilient, having plans, having margin in our lives for the times when things don't go as expected, and we have to plan differently.
It makes us all stronger. Let me ask you another question about the business environment. What have you heard out there about businesses doing well? What have you heard, and how do you think it's going from a business standpoint with the local businesses opening up?
I think it's been tough. I think our local businesses have been through a lot, especially those that had to have been closed down, that were closed down during the pandemic, or if they could operate, they had to operate at a greatly reduced level. I think it's been very tough on them. It's been tough on their employees. And, there's only so many things that we can do here at the local government level to help. But where we can, we do. And so that has been aside from those affected health-wise by the pandemic, the impact on businesses has been very difficult to see.
I would agree with that, but there is like the barbershops, Kazi's barbershop. They said in 1 week they did 700 heads, which is normally they do 150 or so. Some of the boating companies where you could buy a boat or rent a boat or use a boat, if you rise above the circumstances and digest it properly, there's always an opportunity out there if you can get past the hurdles. You know what I mean?
Yeah, what I've seen in the last 2 weeks, as far as volume and activity, and what I've heard from friends and business owners, other citizens, people going to restaurants again, hotels filling up, small businesses seeing large numbers. You mentioned Kazi's. That is a great thing to hear and to see. And
Eric, they did it the right way too. Everybody seems, I think the most important part, and I hope the people that are viewing this really take this to heart. We don't want a resurge of this. So practice your distancing, stay apart, no more than a few people in the building at one time, and things like that is critical so it doesn't come back with a vengeance. If it comes back a little bit, I think we're all mentally capable for that. If it comes back for a vengeance, I just don't want to see that.
I agree.
So I wanted to share something, and I appreciate our friendship, and I wanted to tell people. I still get a little in my heart when I talk about it, but my son Anthony, 8 years ago he was in a bicycle accident in San Francisco. He's riding his bike and he got caught in a trolley track and went over. And when you own a magazine like Mount Pleasant Magazine, and by the way, magazines are designed to build strong communities, Eric. So my job, as I see it, is to showcase the best Mount Pleasant has to offer, no matter what we've gone through. And it also reflects the personalities of the team putting together and what they're going through. And during that time period with Anthony, I wrote a lot of articles in the magazine, and I wanted to tell our viewers that I got this 7 years ago now. I got this little note in an envelope. I didn't know who this was from, and it was from you, Eric. And it said, my family's been reading about your family, and our prayers are with you. That just, you can tell it touches to this day, Eric. It touches me. So I think that reflects who you are. And I also think it reflects the warmth, the kindness, and the consideration our town as a whole does exude. Maybe not as often as we'd like, but that's part of being strong, because you are a strong person. I've talked to you. I know it is. But you can still be strong and be considerate. You can still be strong and be compassionate. And I think you are that person.
Oh, thank you, Bill. You're kind.
I had to share that. I hope I didn't embarrass you. It means so much to me when you did that. I didn't even know who you were, really. So, but I appreciate you. Since I emailed you about being on the podcast, I think last night I said we had 8,400 people. We've got 11,685 people that have viewed this on Facebook. Now, I spent some money boosting it and all that, but that's amazing. Isn't that amazing?
I think it's great. It speaks to what you're doing there at Mount Pleasant Magazine, Bill. I mean,
I represent
you've got a wonderful product, and it's important to the community.
Well, thanks. It's like you. Part of what drives you is the town that you serve, and definitely part of what drives me is the town that I serve. And I appreciate being here on the Voice of Mount Pleasant, Eric. I really do, and I appreciate your time. And I look forward to another conversation with you down the road.
Hey, Bill, keep up the great work. Tell Anthony hello for me.
I will, man. See you later. Thank you.
See you later. Thank you.
Thanks for spending your time with the Voice of Mount Pleasant podcast by Mount Pleasant Magazine. Your community, your podcast. Listen to this and more local podcasts at mountpleasantpodcasts.com.